I felt I am being treated like a child in a children's garden. I was the only one who was actually talking to people there, and this is what they wanted, but I was the only one who was making them drunk. But these people were acting many times differently compared to economy passengers.
Because I started a business in the last year of flying, and I was very eager to find out what people do, where do they go,
Exactly. Yeah.
how did they start it, what kept them motivated.
There was this sheikh on board, and I just started a random conversation. He had very expensive watch, and I just say,
especially in the Middle East area where you meet so many nationalities and you have to be very careful with how you choose your words.
Correct. I can even recognize somebody on the street. This must be Emirates Crew.
Definitely, we have a very good radar for that.
And then when you finally started to feel rested, you were just putting the uniform back on. Without that experience, I wouldn't have what I'm doing today. I used to live with 3 girls, which wasn't allowed, but nobody knew. You are kind of risking your life on a layover. I used to carry my parachute with me to...
Welcome back to the Voyagista podcast, where we share stories of people who know aviation by heart. And today I'm really excited to have Martin next to me, a former Emirates colleague, who is now the owner of a company dedicated to helping airline staff. But he's gonna share more about that in a second. Martin,
hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's start at the very beginning. How did you get into aviation, first of all?
How did I get into aviation? When I worked between 2007 and 2011 in UK, in one of the hotels, my friend resigned from that hotel and he disappeared basically. And suddenly I discovered that he started to fly as a cabin crew for Etihad Airways. Yeah. So I met him once in London when he flown in from Abu Dhabi. And I asked him about the job, and he told me it has a lot of advantages. You fly around the world, you live for free because its company provided accommodation, tax-free salary, you fly with different people, you stay in very nice resorts and hotels around the world. And so I saw a lot of advantages. There was one disadvantage for me, which I saw, the job I was going to do. So, but I said...
The job itself.
Yes, it wasn't really my dream to do that job.
What did you do in London?
I worked in a hotel, and I worked for Avis Car Rental, which was a rental car company. Yeah. But I was sitting there having a uniform, also that sexy waistcoat. And I was like, it's better to move around the world and wearing that uniform than sitting here at the airport and doing nothing behind a computer. So I saw all these advantages, and I tried my luck. I tried my luck with Emirates, then Etihad, then Qatar Airways. Qatar Airways didn't accept me because I have my arm covered with tattoo, which is not a problem because these days, as you can read online, these days, as long as your tattoo is not visible in Emirates uniform or any probably airline uniform, you are fine. But I wasn't honest to them, and then I tried 4th time. Emirates Airline, and I already learned what to expect from all these interviews. So I told them everything about me, and you have to tell them nice things. Yeah. So you have to tell them something nice, and you have to tell them examples. And suddenly I got accepted in January 2012. They called me.
Okay, so we joined more or less in the same time.
Exactly.
In February.
I ended up in Dubai 6th of February 2012 and started the training with Emirates Airline.
How did you find the training?
The training was something not really for me because I felt I am being treated like a child in a children's garden. However, when you look at it from my perspective right now,
as a company owner,
it was a great thing. They know exactly why they're doing it. I actually have a feeling they have it psychologically set up by psychologists in a way that everybody at the same time receives the same information they need. So it's very active training. You have to focus, and it has a reason why it's designed in that way. That time I really didn't enjoy it. It takes 2 months. It's very tough, but it's doable. But now I see it as a very good experience.
So, as I know, you stayed with Emirates about 10
About 9 years, yes.
Yeah, so you went through economy class, business class crew, and ended up in first class.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about your overall experience as a crew, but also the traveling experience outside of the job. Like the tough parts, the enjoyable parts.
The tough part is gonna be probably for me, talking about myself only, the tough part was probably the economy. There is too many people located in a very small
confined
space. Yeah, I call it tube, the aircraft. So it's in a very small cabin. It's too many people. The service is quite tough if you have to answer for every single person, and everybody's basically on the top of you. Everybody's asking constantly questions. So these questions can be. It's a customer service, but it's a tough job. It's very active job, and it's very tiring job. The toughest part was the economy part for me.
Yeah. And what about the first class part? Because I know for myself, when I went from economy to business, I stayed in business about 5 years, so way more time than economy. And I know the difference was huge. And I enjoyed business class way more because it was more elegant, more people were a bit more sophisticated, they didn't demand as many things, so I could take it easier. You mentioned that you didn't necessarily enjoy the role itself. I know for first class it's even more pressure on delivering an excellent service.
Correct.
So I wonder, how did this match for you? Like putting all the effort for the service, even though it was not really your thing, your passion.
It wasn't my piece of cake. Economy. But when I ended up in business, it was a different story. Still, it was very hectic. But I really enjoyed one part in business class, which many people did not enjoy. I didn't enjoy the detailed service and attention to detail. I learned something, that's a different thing, but I didn't enjoy it. But I really enjoyed A380 lounge. That was my favorite position. And since they knew it was my favorite position, nobody wanted to give it to me. But I was the only one who was actually talking to people there, and this is what they wanted, but I was the only one who was making them drunk.
I see.
I didn't apply the 4Ds, so.
Maybe people don't know, but in the aircraft you have a specific position allocated to you, and you have to be in charge of your area. Being the lounge operator is a position itself where you have to set up the lounge, you have to conversate with people, to entertain them, just enjoy yourself basically.
Correct.
Right? And I noticed on myself that sometimes, depending on the mood, if it was a 3 a.m. flight, maybe I would be more in the mood to operate the galley, where I wouldn't talk as much with the passengers and I would do my stuff there. Other times where I would enjoy being in the lounge, where I would be more, open to conversate with people and so on. So you were willing to, be in the lounge.
I tell you why. As I mentioned before we started this podcast, I really enjoyed talking to passengers, because for me it was a journey which was leading to some kind of business. During Emirates I was trying different kind of businesses, but I'll come to that later. I was talking to passengers because business class had on board passengers who were probably wealthy, probably flying for a business, they were probably entrepreneurs, who knows. But these people were acting many times differently compared to economy passengers. I'm not trying to say anything bad about economy, but it's much more easier. You have much more space for a personal conversation in a business class. That's why I was lounge operator, because I was really enjoying talking to different people. Where they're from, what do they do, how did they get it done, if it was too interesting, maybe we ended up in touch. There were many promises, somebody promised me a job. I mean, there was more opportunity to interact with people, which I didn't have in economy class, because everybody could hear your conversation. And I didn't want to leave the lounge to talk in the galley about the typical cabin crew gossips. As I explained, who is your manager, where do you live, all these typical questions. After some time, I'm not saying I didn't like to meet people, no. After some time I just felt it's not leading anywhere.
I relate with what you say a lot, because I also started a business in the last year of flying, and I was doing the same. I was very eager to find out what people do, those people who afford flying business class, where do they go, how did they start it, what kept them motivated, and so on.
Many times you just build up the relationship with the person, And very important to say, you never know what happens, because there are things which happen in life you don't expect at all. For example, I ended up flying to Cape Town, and there was when I was a first class crew, and there was the sheikh on board, and I just started a random conversation. He had very expensive watch, and I just say, I don't know, I didn't really say Your Excellency or whatever they call them. I just said, sir, I have to tell you, you have a very beautiful watch. And that's how the conversation started, and I gave him a good service. I took care of him. He introduced me to his wife, and I told them I will take care of them. Whatever I say, he was showing me his watch collection. And so we had an open conversation throughout the whole flight. And I ended up having a number for the sheikh, yeah? He told me, anything you need, Martin, come for a coffee to Ras Al Khaimah when I come back, you're more than welcome. And of course, it turned into a good advantage for me, as I might explain later.
Yeah, I think as long as you are genuine, you are authentic, you are actually interested in that person in front of you, of course the outcome will be very good. And as you said, you never know where. And of course,
sorry to jump into this conversation, but of course the FG1 position, the first class position, gave me again even more opportunity to have more privacy with those people,
be even more personal,
because you have to be very careful. You work with different nationality, everybody sees things in a different way, so you have to be very careful what you use, what you say, and it just gives you more privacy, and the people feel it as well. They are more relaxed in a first class, and of course business class, because they have their own space, so it gives them more relaxed atmosphere.
I would dare to say it's a skill to be able to have a conversation, especially with someone like a sheikh, especially in the Middle East area where you meet so many nationalities, and as you said, you have to be very careful with how you choose your words.
Correct.
Not to offend anyone, because it's so easy to offend people, especially nowadays.
Yeah, you don't even know about it, and it happens. Yeah.
So to have a pleasant conversation, to offer a good service, because that's your job, and in the same time to create a connection, I think that's a skill, to be honest. You think you were born with this skill, or you learned it along the way?
I think it just has been in the family. My father had a business, not very successful, but had a business. My uncle it's someone I see as a kind of successful business person. So I was kind of trying to follow him in this way. I've met many business people on board, and it was kind of always my dream. After I finished with professional football here in Austria, in Rapid Vienna, I finished with professional football when I was 19, and I basically wanted to start business. This was another dream, which I wanted to reach. But it took me 12 years searching for the right thing, and I tried many of them, and none of them were successful. You just can't give up. You just need to keep going and grow, and it will happen one day when you don't expect it.
Exactly, you have to show up basically every day.
It's not easy, but if you fail here, if you fail there, it's not a failing, it's something which teaches you something new.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to keep going. It's not easy, but if you keep going, it must happen.
It's a matter of perspective, of mentality. If you see it as a failure, it will drain you. If you see it as a learning point, it's gonna add up. Going back to your overall experience with Emirates, maybe you can tell me, how did the whole 9 years or 10 years impacted you? What was the actual impact that the entire experience had on you? Like starting from the Martin you were when you joined in 2012 and the person you were when you left Emirates. When
Martin joined in 2012,
how old are you?
I was 2012, 23, I think. So I wanted to mainly explore the world and see the cities, because you don't get to see much. And that was the main impact, that it gives you feeling that you have the whole world on your hand. For example, I wanted to go. After some time, you find in Emirates and in any airline you fly, you find your thing. So my thing is food, for example. Yeah, I like to enjoy food. I like to enjoy drinks. And my friend always says, I know every single pub all around the world. Yeah, because a restaurant, because I traveled a lot. But so that impacted me a lot. I got the opportunity to get to know the places, get to know the cities, meet different people, and you get a picture. It gave you a knowledge about aviation. It gave you a knowledge about traveling, going through the airport, because what I experienced in my home country, Slovakia, people don't know anything. Today, they keep asking me, Martin, can you organize some cheaper tickets? Do you fly? I mean, I was a number in that company. Yeah. Nobody cares. I don't own the airline. People asking me until today, what's my luggage allowance? Can I take this on board? Can I take my dog on board? Until today, I feel like source of information. Yeah.
And it's all about the basics.
So it was the knowledge about aviation, it was the knowledge about the cities, about the world. It was very important knowledge about different nationalities, because everybody behaves in a different way. But I was still complaining when I was in Emirates. We always did.
If you're not complaining, are you even an Emirates crew?
Yeah, exactly. So I can even recognize on the street, this must be Emirates crew.
Definitely, we have a very good radar for that.
The way you walk to the aircraft, and the way I open the lavatory door, toilet door, I open the hatch rack. The way I open the hatch rack, people know you are crew.
Those are very small details, but if you have your eye for
exactly,
you know.
So it stayed in my head, and now I see it as a very good experience. Use it, that experience what I have, I use it in my own business, and I'll explain later.
I guess as it was for me, but I think that's where you're going as well. It opened up your mind, and it offered you the bigger picture of how the world works.
Correct.
So you know where to place yourself in the whole context.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You, by the time you resigned from Emirates, you of course gathered a lot of skills. I think it gives you clarity, this experience, clarity on yourself, but on the world as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. It teaches you a lot. As I said, we were all complaining a lot. It was tiring. But the moment you go away, you settle down a little bit, because your life will slow down.
You sleep. That's all you need. You just sleep for a few days, and then it starts coming.
Yeah, it felt like it was very tough, because it felt like in Emirates when we had a flight. I always say the roster. Your flights were designed in a way throughout the whole month. Then you went for a flight, you came back, you felt completely tired for a couple of days. It can last for a couple of days, and then when you finally started to feel rested, you were just putting the uniform back on, going back to work. Exactly. So it was very tiring, but again, I have to say it was a great experience, and without that experience, I wouldn't have what I'm doing today.
So what do you do today?
What do I do today? We as an airline crew in Dubai, we used to have many benefits in the whole city, and also I would say a couple of maybe destinations, but I'm not sure there. Yeah, in restaurants, bars, pubs, gyms, pools, hotel pools, different kind of outlets. We used to have discounts based on Emirates Platinum card or Face card. I think they are canceling the Face card now. So when you showed your card, you were getting in Dubai 15 up to even 50-60% discount. So
that's something maybe people don't know about.
There are a lot of benefits involved. So being a cabin crew, on the top of the discounted flight tickets, which are advantage and disadvantage at the same time. We know how standby traveling works. So I was always looking for different type of ideas, how to start a business and provide excellent service to crew, how to offer them something which is not available yet. And I remember we used to fly with Emirates Airline 5 times a day to the Maldives, and it's a beautiful destination.
A turnaround, we should mention.
Turnaround, exactly. It was very tiring. Especially those flights depart approximately at 2, 4, up to 7, 9, 10 a.m. So there are a couple of flights. One of them is during the day, I think via Colombo, Sri Lanka. And everybody loves Maldives. That's my opinion. I mean, who wouldn't like to go to the Maldives, be honest?
Even if you don't know about Maldives, if you just looked out the window
exactly.
approaching, like, oh my God, I want to stay here.
It's one of the most beautiful, of course, one of the most, I would say, expensive destinations in the world, and it's something you must see. It's just paradise.
I agree, yeah.
And okay, there are maybe few people who say they don't like Maldives, they prefer hiking. Fair enough, we all like different things.
That comes down to personal preference.
But in a combination with a discounted flight ticket as a pilot or a crew or a airline staff, we were getting up to 90% discount of flight tickets. So your flight ticket from, I don't know, Dubai to Maldives costed you maybe 600-700 dirhams return, which is about 150 euros. Same was from Dubai to Europe, so it's a fair deal. The disadvantage is standby, but we're not gonna go into that so deep. But in a combination with the discounted resorts in the Maldives, it works perfectly. So we started a business where we offer discounted packages for airline and aviation and airport employees to the Maldives. It's called crewmaldives.com. It's a booking portal where we offer up to 70% lower rates compared to public booking portals. The advantage with us is that we include every single thing, which is a seaplane transfer, speedboat transfer, or a domestic flight transfer. These transfers are not included in many cases. I'm not saying always, but in many cases.
And they are such a headache too.
Exactly. On a public booking portals, they are not included, these transfers. So it's a surprising charge for a client to arrive to the hotel, to the resort, and pay 4 up to 600 USD on the spot. So you have to be very careful when you're comparing other rates, because they include everything. They are final. They include accommodation, speedboat, seaplane, taxis, meal plan. There is no hidden cost, and we even offer local assistance services in the destination. So there is our representative in our t-shirt with our logo waiting for all our customers, and he will introduce them to a local resort representative who will assist them further with the transfer.
That's very cool.
So this is the way it works. So we started to offer discounted packages, sometimes up to 70% lower compared to public booking portal. Not always, sometimes, because the rates on public rates are keep changing. They are dynamic. So they keep changing, but our rates are discounted and fixed for different seasons. There are about 4 seasons in the Maldives. Season when it comes to rates, not when it comes to weather. Weather is always the same, between 28 up to 32 degrees. So this is what we started to do, but now we are upgrading the whole business, because Crew Maldives is gonna change to Crew Holidays. We wanted to have a general name because Crew Maldives is only related to the Maldives, but Crew Holidays will be related to more destinations.
Okay, so you're thinking to expand to
correct,
more. Okay.
correct. It's already happening. It hopefully starts November, because it was a long journey with a reservation system and the IT company, but we want to offer more destinations such as Seychelles, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Philippines, even French Polynesia and Caribbean islands, and maybe there are gonna be some ski resorts included as well in Europe. This is the way how we want to expand. So Crew Maldives changing to Crew Holidays very soon, which will be advertised accordingly online, and we are also adding Maldives.ae as a public booking portal exclusively for public clients, and we're gonna serve UAE, United Arab Emirates, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. So we're gonna offer these packages to public people to the Maldives as well, because we have been doing this for 6 years very successfully. We are trying to use my knowledge from first class with a detailed service. We're trying to implement that type of service when we are dealing with customers.
It's a transferable skill.
Exactly. So the way we're dealing with customers, we use my knowledge from first class. So this is the advantage. It taught me how to deliver very high quality service, and this is what I'm using for my benefit towards our customers.
I can imagine when you started the business and when you started to advertise it to the crew, I think the crew started running to it, right? I mean,
it was kind of
70% off on a hotel in Maldives. Oh my God!
It was kind of successful.
Take my money.
Yeah, exactly. It was successful because we started. Emirates was our biggest customer. It is until today, including Qatar Airways and Etihad. We are being shared internally in Air Arabia, Delta, Helvetic, Edelweiss, Swissair, British Airways Club, APC Club, which is Aviation Professionals Club, even Cathay Pacific, New Zealand Airways. It's global. Even a couple of airports like Munich. So the approach we have is now globally. We are trying, even TAP Portugal is our main client. So many different airlines, our clients and our packages are being shared internally only because we cannot offer them to public customers. That's why we created Maldives.de, which is going to be public booking portal as well. And how you sell it is just the way of selling. I mean, we always try to have a better rate. We have a really good partners in the Maldives who are providing fantastic rates for us. So we use their services for 6 years, so it has been successful. And I believe Maldives.de will be successful as well for public customers.
I wish I was still in the aviation now. But see, this is another reason for people to get this job and start flying, right?
It is.
Look at what kind of opportunities you get.
It is, yes. I can only confirm that. Yeah.
Even for this sole reason, it's worth it.
Yes. I stayed in aviation until today, so it's also my hobby.
I always say that aviation is addictive, and once you taste it, it stays in your blood and you cannot take it out. How was it for you?
It always stayed in my blood. I only did one mistake when I joined as a cabin crew. If I could change something, I would join probably as a pilot, which wasn't the case. However, after I finished as a cabin crew, as you said, it stays in your blood. I always had the need to basically fly my own aircraft, and I wanted to take off and land it by myself, which I managed. I've done my private pilot license, and I keep flying now as on a single engine aircraft in Slovakia as a private pilot. But my hobby, which I do for longer, I started in Dubai. I do skydiving. So I have my skydiving license. I skydive as a solo skydiver, so I jumped in Skydive Dubai, and now I keep doing this hobby in Slovakia during the summer months.
I also know that your partner is ex-Emirates crew as well. She was in fact even more than that, she was also flying for the private jet in Dubai.
Correct. Yeah.
And I wonder, how was your life as a couple who are both flying? I mean, I also know from my own experience, my husband was with Fly Dubai, so we, tried to navigate this lifestyle as a married couple. But I'm curious to know, how was it for you? Because with Emirates, the flying schedule was a little bit more demanding.
Correct. Well, it was difficult sometimes, because the good advantage was that we used to live together. Not legally, but we did.
I think now it's legal.
Now it's legal, correct. So it's just the paper which was signed later on. Yeah. So now it's legal. So we used to live together in an Emirates accommodation. Actually, I used to live with 3 girls, which wasn't allowed, but nobody knew. I lived with her in her room, and I used to live by myself before, but it changed very quickly when she came. So we used to live in a T-com in Al Barsha Heights in Dubai, together in a building. My apartment was on the 15th floor, she was on the 10th floor, and I used to live with 3 Slovakian girls, so they didn't mind.
Okay,
challenging part, as you know, is the roster.
Yeah.
Your planning of your flights for the whole month, which you always receive between 15 and 16 every month for the following month. That was the challenging part, because there is something called bidding system. So you were bidding for flights, as you know, and you didn't get in many cases what you requested. Yeah. That was the challenging part. So your roster could be many times with your partner completely opposite. You were coming back to Dubai, she was flying out of Dubai, and you were just swapping the destination between each other.
I mean, that's apart from the jet lag and constant tiredness and so on.
Correct.
Apart from that, you have to, somehow match at least a little.
Sometimes you live together, but you don't even see each other. That was the challenging part. But then you appreciate each other much more when you don't see each other every day. So it's a different type of life. In many cases, when you were lucky, you always managed to swap on each other flight, and you managed to fly together, which was a good experience, but a short time experience, because being together in different cities all around the world with your partner is fantastic. What people don't realize, and this feeling came to me afterwards, when you start to fly a lot and you end up being there 2-3 years, that yes, it's beautiful to fly around the world. But for example, I was in New Zealand, Los Angeles, I don't know where, anywhere in South Africa, all around the world or Asia. And the important thing is you are there alone. Completely alone, because they have more than 20,000 cabin crew. Every single flight you fly with different people you never seen, and if you've seen them, you don't know where and on which flight. We flown together, right?
Exactly, we were actually.
So
this is the funny part.
This was the funny part.
You look familiar, but we
you don't know where, and
it's just together.
It's just nonsense conversation, because you're not gonna probably find out.
Never find out.
You will never probably find out where you flown together. So this was the challenging part, because you ended up on a layover. Sometimes it was good group of people who understood each other, and sometimes it was just.
It's like lottery.
You didn't.
Click,
It won't click. Yeah, it wasn't really good group of people. You just didn't went well on with each other. Yeah. So you ended up being on a layover by yourself, taking pictures, by yourself. So there is no one to share the experience with. On the beginning, it doesn't feel that way. You are all excited that you are in all these different places and beautiful places.
At the beginning, you are there no matter what, in what circumstances, but then it comes down, okay, I've seen this a few times, I would like to have someone to really enjoy it. And this was one of the reasons why I resigned as well. Like, I really wanted my partner to be there to enjoy it with him.
Correct. So I just didn't enjoy it later on anymore, and I just found something positive. I have to have a highlight. So okay, I'm flying to Moscow. Okay, what I'm gonna do there? Of course, Moscow is beautiful. It's a nice historical city. Or I'm flying to Los Angeles. I've been there 3 times. What I'm gonna do there? Or New York, or Houston, boring place. But you have to find always something which catches your attraction.
To look forward.
Yes, where there is a food, where is some kind of beautiful area to go to. Whatever you do, whatever you like,
but
just do it there.
You mentioned the nice layovers, but this applies even more to the layovers that you don't really like. Of course, you have something to learn from each experience and country, but it's not something to really pull you towards, for example, I don't know, Lagos. Let's say you have to find something to motivate yourself.
My motivation was food.
Okay, that's a very good motivation.
Let's try different food everywhere. Have a drink and try different food. That was my only motivation. On the top of that, my motivation was skydiving, which wasn't allowed, because you are kind of risking your life on a layover. I used to carry my parachute with me to destinations such as Los Angeles, San Francisco, what else? Where did I jump? Switzerland, New Zealand, Australia. These places I went to different skydiving drop zones, and I went for a jump. Of course, I checked everything in advance, but I was carrying my parachute, and I was always afraid when I check my bag in, if they don't ask all these questions like, what is this? Because a parachute has some kind of little computer which may look weird because there are some wires involved. So, but it never was a problem.
Wow, I'm impressed actually. I mean, the having a parachute in your
that's what I was carrying when they're pulling the bags out of the bus, and the guys, and sometimes the purser helped. Why is your bag so heavy?
Food.
I don't know, something must be there, somebody put sand there,
Oh, that's great.
So
I'm curious to know if there is like one moment in your career with Emirates that really changed how you see the world or how you see your life, or something either heartwarming or something heartbreaking on the contrary.
Well, definitely you see beautiful places. Without this job, I wouldn't probably see places as I visited. I don't know, Machu Picchu, different destinations, Easter Islands, I don't know, Fiji. But this was during my free time. It was during my holiday. The negative part, what you see, the type of people on board, the poor people, nationalities, poor destinations. For example, Dhaka, Bangladesh, India, how differently people live and what are the living conditions. I wouldn't call it heartbreaking for me, I would call it's a very tough reality, and these people have very difficult life, but unfortunately it is what it is. You see it, it's just another experience for you. You just need to take something positive out of it. Whatever it is, it's just, I've seen it as an experience. You can't feel sorry for everybody.
Exactly.
It's difficult. It's difficult sometimes, but sometimes I'm not even surprised, but I'm not gonna go into that.
Yeah, it's a delicate topic, so to say, and for me personally was the fact that I started to see my country and my environment in a different way. I started to realize how privileged I actually am to come from Romania, a country like Romania, and to realize that people around the world, they don't have some things that they are just basic for us.
I keep saying to myself, I'm not a big fan of my country. I mean, just because it's probably my country, I don't like to be there, yeah. But to be honest, I've seen worse places, and we always say nothing works in that country. Actually, nothing works, but at least something works.
Yeah.
Because there are worse places.
Is there anything that if you could change, would you change? You already mentioned that you maybe would have preferred to join as a pilot.
I would definitely join as a pilot, because right now that would something I would change. I would probably wouldn't go to UK when I finished with my football career. I should probably start a PPL, private pilot license, but these days if I could turn back the time, I would definitely join as a pilot. But again, the advantage and disadvantage. Pilot, it's a life job, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you a real example what happened. It's a pilot job, it's a life job, yeah? You invest thousands and thousands into this to have this job until you become a captain. We're talking about years, flying Boeing or Airbus. Talk about years and hours of experience. If you lose the job, you lost a lot.
Exactly, it's a lot of money and energy involved.
Correct. As a cabin crew, we could probably all lose the job at some point. I was in that situation many times. I just had a good manager.
You should tell me more about that.
I just had a good manager, and I'm still friend with him. I go for a drink with him in Dubai when I come back. So he's a good guy.
That's rare.
Yeah, very rare. That was very rare. But I was specialist in it. You know, I was always talking to people in a very nice way and funny way. When you lose a job as a cabin crew, okay, you lose something. It depends what it means for you. For me, it didn't mean much. But when you lose a job as a pilot, it's a big loss.
Definitely.
And there was a guy, you know, we used to. This is something also important, that we used to be pulled out for alcohol and drug test. And at some point, it's a random test. They can pull you out before every flight, and it does not happen only in Dubai. It happens actually in different destinations. It never happened to me in 9 years. I was probably lucky, very lucky.
It happened to me only once, to be honest.
But it can happen abroad in a hotel where you are staying, and it happened not on my flight, but on my girlfriend's flight. I think it was first officer. I don't know. It happened in Australia. They pulled him out for alcohol and drug test. I don't know who it was. And he was positive. He was tested positive, and he lost his job. He probably will never start an engine on an aircraft anymore. So this is what I try to compare. If I tested positive because I was drunk last night, you can have bits of alcohol in your body still, in your system. But as a pilot, you just don't lose the job. You lose also you also lose future opportunity to get a new job, because it's already on your record. But if I lose the job in that way, I'm not gonna look for a cabin crew job anymore, because my way of thinking was completely different. I always wanted to have my own business, and it was successfully accomplished. So
regarding your business, is there anything you want to mention for our followers to easily find you? Or
you just need to go to crewmaldives.com. You need to register and log in. So basically the registration requires your name, your email address, and the airline you work for. You can type it there. You can just select from the drop down list, and you just need to register and then log in, and only then when you log in it will display the rates for you. We have support via WhatsApp. Somebody is available all the time. Basically when you text us, you will receive an answer within 10 minutes maximum, I would say. And of course there is a toll-free number you can call. It's mentioned on the website. It's 800 Maldives. So you can call us directly. It's a toll-free number for you, and we will answer the phone anytime during the day and give you all the answers you need. We offer, at the moment, we offer up to 20 different properties in the Maldives for discounted rates, and we are starting crewholidays.com, where we will add new destinations very soon, which will be advertised via newsletter and all over the internet.
Amazing. So you just have to prepare your bikinis and you're good to go.
Correct. give us a call at any time.
That was it for today, Martin. Thank you so much for being here and for being so open about your experience in the skies at 40,000 feet and going from there to amazingly growing your business in the service of airline staff. Thank you for sharing all this with us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me here. It was a pleasure to meet you, and hopefully we'll do one more round next time.
With you. Until next time, keep your head in the clouds.